Good morning. Welcome to the Windsor Star News Cafe. I'm Don McArthur here with Dylan Kristy and the Windsor Police Chief Al Frederick.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chief. Welcome to the show. On top of everybody's mind and on top of the fold today, there was a shooting in downtown Windsor. What can you tell us about it? What's the latest?
Yeah, so it happened at the Boom Boom Room, 2:40 in the morning on Sunday morning, so Saturday night basically. And it was some sort of an altercation. We're still sorting out the details of that. But we do know that there was a person shot. He is currently in hospital, expected to recover. And we have two people in custody after some great police work.
Okay, now it's all we had in the paper today was a 20 and a 24-year-old person. Can you give us any more on that?
I can. So both of those individuals are from the Toronto area, Brampton more specifically. And one of them is well known to police in that neighborhood.
So that kind of seems to be a common thread. Often when there is conflict downtown, I know there was a stabbing that was almost a year ago.
Kevin Kagathison, yeah, in downtown outside Midnight Club, yeah.
It seems that a lot of these people are coming from the Toronto, Brampton area. Can you kind of speak to what needs to be done in order to approach this? Does it come from, increased policing downtown? Does it come from the part of the club owners? What would you like to see as far as just making the downtown more safe for people who want to go downtown to these clubs?
Yeah, so good question, Dylan. So first of all, what I'd like to point out that any crime, of course, has a tremendous negative impact, of course, on the victims and the community at large.
Right.
But what we need to focus on is that in respect of that stabbing that occurred last year and in respect of this shooting, was the large police presence was there during the event itself. Some of our officers actually heard that shot being fired the other day. So immediate aid is given to the victim and an immediate investigation is commenced. So we flooded the area again with officers able to make the quick arrest. So those dynamics, which largely are maybe out of our control, are really controlled when we have the presence that we do. So the working closely with the community, having our large police presence, has allowed us to make those arrests in a timely fashion, so to minimize further risk to the community. But without question, there is violence potential in every community, and guns and drugs are definitely at the source of most of it.
Has a gun been recovered?
A gun has been recovered. The two officers that made the arrests confronted these two individuals within minutes of that shooting, and they were in possession of the firearm.
Okay, well, obviously,
high risk.
Okay, great police work. This obviously, it gets on the front page. Everybody's talking about it, and people are all like, "It's not safe downtown. It's not safe downtown," just because it is so scary. But I mean, the last shooting downtown was several years ago, outside sort of, I think, the box office. I think 2007. They don't happen that often.
No.
Shootings downtown, but the media maybe it just seems so stark and striking. So, is it safe out there? Or do people need to worry?
No, I mean, it's always good to be aware of your surroundings, without question. However, when we talk anecdotally about a crime that gets a lot of publicity, we have to look at the overall numbers, and I did bring them along. So we are, again, the crime rate is down, especially violence against people in our community is down year over year, and it's way down in relation to our 5-year average. So while any type of crime, especially against a person, is unacceptable, and we're trying to minimize that as much as possible, working with all of our community partners to do that, it does occur. And when it does, we need to have those resources to respond.
Okay. Some people in our comment section have said, this is high time now that all bars sort of in Windsor have metal detectors for people going in and out. I mean, I'm just throwing this at you out of the blue, but what do you think about that idea, metal detectors in bars? We have them in the courthouse.
Yeah, it's going to be an individual choice whether they want to do that or not. There's some challenges always to deploying a feature like that, but I think each individual bar is going to have to assess their own risk and make those decisions.
Okay, that's fair. Well, I think the one thing talking about the comments, the one thing that drives me nuts is whenever there's a violent crime in Windsor, you always get the comment, "We're turning into Detroit." Like Windsor's now the next Detroit, but you're saying now that trends are showing that these violent crimes against people are reducing, and they do seem to be down.
They are. So I can tell you this, what we should be most proud of as a community is, first of all, our professional police response. It's incredible here in Windsor. Secondly, we have an engaged community that is providing us, first of all, with witnesses. They're providing us with information, and 24/7, 365, we're gathering information. So when there is a shooting, like happened on Drouillard Road recently, we are not starting at square one. We know who the players are. We're gathering intelligence all the time. Our community is engaged with that process, and we're getting those success stories. So overall, we do have the job. We're always working to get better, but at the same time, we should be very thankful for what we're doing so far.
Excellent.
Okay, now, of course, with any information, you can call Crime Stoppers at 258-TIPS and probably the downtown police station at 255-6700, extension 4830.
Right on.
4830, that'll get you the detectives. So help Windsor Police if you can. Let's change gears here for a second, Chief. Last week was a momentous day for you guys, sort of a report 3 years in the making, your human rights report. I released that at the Art Gallery of Windsor. What did we learn? What are the lessons, and why is this an important milestone?
Yeah, it is a great. So what happened there? We were in a partnership with a charter with the Human Rights Commission of Ontario and the Ontario Police College and the Windsor Police Services Board. And what we committed to is all of our policies, whether it's in relation to our engagement with the community or internal human resource policies, will be consistent with best practices for human rights. And we're very happy with the outcomes. We're already in the process of transforming all of our policies, our practices, and it's going to be a living document. So going forward, we're always going to be not only compliant, but leading the charge when it comes to best practices of human rights.
So what does that mean? I think one of the
Yeah.
things that the article mentioned was that you could see new faces kind of coming through the Windsor Police Force. It's about representing or having a representative police force of the community you're serving. Can you just kind of speak to some of the changes that you might actually see?
So that's a great question. So in respect of that, so recruitment, we want to reduce barriers to multicultural people applying, to make it broad-based for any gender to apply. And in the past, we didn't really break those barriers down. So now we're entering into areas of the community to recruit that we weren't in before. So the mosques, schools, clubs, wherever people are that may have an interest, we want to create an environment where they feel comfortable in applying. We had a great initiative last year through our training branch, Inspector Crowley, where female applicants had a chance to compete in the physical fitness portion of it all by themselves with no male counterparts, to intimidate them. And it was great success. We were the first ones in Ontario to do that sort of thing. So that's the type of thing. Break down barriers, allow people the access to the police service, and to encourage them to come.
Excellent.
Okay, well, I know you're getting praise from the Ontario Human Rights Commissioner, Barbara Hall, for doing this. I think she was down here for that, the second force in Ontario, I think, to do it. And in terms of, you guys actually did a census of the existing force to find out, and we did find that, just like you're saying, we're lacking representation of visible minorities in one of the most diverse communities.
Absolutely.
So how do we, so you go in the mosque, you go in that, but is there any sort of affirmative action in hiring, or is it just trying to get more of recruits from different walks of life?
Yeah, that's a great question, Don. So there's no affirmative action at all. We're going to take the very best applicants at the end of the day, bar none. We take the best applicants. But we can't take the best applicants if we can't get them to the door to apply. And that's where our efforts are. What is it that's prohibiting you or having policing not of an interest to you? And let's educate people. Let's help them understand what it is as a career and why it's so attractive. And we're getting some successes. We really are.
Okay. Chief, we really appreciate you joining us. Anything else you want to tell the folks at Windsor?
No, I just appreciate the opportunity. And I can tell you that we have an exceptional professional police service, and the community is integral in our successes. And it's a community partnership, but it's also a community engagement, and we see that in Windsor all the time.
Excellent.
Okay.
Well, keep up the good work, and thank you so much for coming on to see us in the Windsor Star News Cafe.
Thank you for having me.